Alright, so we're back in the shop again, working on the car. We've done some pretty good racing so far this year. I've got the car down to 1209 at 111. We're going to do a couple other tricks to get a little bit more out of it. One thing I acquired from a buddy was some Moroso front springs to put in the front of this, make the front end lift a little quicker, get off the line a little harder. A couple other things we're going to do. One thing is my shift light for my tach. Let me change positions here. There we go, that's a little better. Alright, I got it down here, and right now it's flashing more towards my jaw throat area. So I think what I'm going to do is move it up over here, flash me more right in the eyes where I need it. One thing I've done, so that I don't have to watch the tach while I'm staging, is I've hooked up a two-step that's in my little 6LS box there. So what it does is it needs to see a 12-volt source to activate the two-step, and I talked to a couple other racers on how they do it. So what we've done is we've gone down to the brake pedal. So I still have the brake pedal switch in there, the brake switch for the rear lights. So I went off the 12-volt source for that, so that when I have the brake on, it'll engage. But I don't want it on every time I have the brake on. So what I've done is come over and I've put it on a switch back here. So only when I'm back in first gear and have the brake on will it engage. The only problem is this is a little bit flimsy and I've had it not engage on me. So I gotta make a little bit tougher bracket, go back here to some solid steel little bracket, come up and hold it exactly where I want it all the time instead of being able to flex around. So that brake has to be on, car has to be back in first gear, and then my two-step will come on, and then I don't have to go tach, tree, you know, wherever, whichever lane I'm in. If I'm in the tower lane, tach and tree are right there. It's not bad. If I'm in the spectator lane, the tree's over here, so I gotta go get it up to exact the RPM I want, and then look over here and hope I'm not too late for the lights. So that's why I've done that, is just for ease of staging and way more consistent launches. So brake, first gear, I watch the tree, I can bring it up on the torque converter, and then the two-step will start kicking in, and then I can sit there and watch the tree. Makes everything a lot easier, but a little more solid bracket for that so that it'll work better, and then yeah, works better. So that's the two big things we're going to concentrate on to start with to make the car work a little bit better off the line, and then if I still have time, well, we'll get into more stuff. Alright, so you guys have seen me change springs before and stuff like that. I took these ones out not that long ago, beginning of the year, and I chopped a coil off of them. The reason we're changing them is these are the factory Trans Am springs. So these springs are meant for handling and cornering and stuff like that, not so much for straight launches. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, those were a pretty awesome spring to have. Between those and a nice big monster sway bar, you had it pretty much set up. So these springs are not meant for handling, being on the road, stuff like that. These are meant for drag racing. So one of the big differences, smaller wire diameter. Smaller wire diameter and more coils. Makes the suspension react a lot easier, a lot better, so that it can lift. So there will be a lot of loaded energy, is what they call it, when you're sitting at the line ready to go. And then when you let off the brake, trans brake, brake pedal, whatever you're running, these things can spring with the front of the engine and the 90-10 shocks that we have in there, make that front end lift, get all the traction we can to the back, and get that thing moving out of the hole. And that's half the battle, is getting the car out of the hole, because everything you take off the 60 foot you notice at least that to double at the top end difference in ET. So we're going to compare the two. Right now the car is running about 1.71-ish, 60 foots. And then if I remember, next time I'm out there this weekend, maybe I'll compare 60 foots and see if it did anything and let you know. Alright, so we will talk about that later. Again, you guys have watched me do this, so it's pretty straightforward. Take the shocks out, bottom 2 bolts here, the stud on the top. You're going to disconnect the tie rod, disconnect the lower ball joint, have this supported by a jack of some sort and a chain wrapped around the control arm and the spring so it can't go flying anywhere. Take the tire off, obviously, take the caliper off, put it off to the side, take the whole knuckle off, set it off to the side, and then yeah, we'll take the spring out, replace it with the new ones. Hopefully they go in there pretty easy, a lot easier than what these ones did, because hopefully it'll be a little more pliable. And there we go. And then we set it down and hopefully our ride height's pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to get doing that. Alright, upon further inspection of these Moroso springs that were a good deal, they're not going to work for my car. So I will be putting these on my website for sale again. You can see they are the exact same wire diameter as my Trans Am springs. So I did a little bit more research. These are for a 2010 to 2100 pound front suspension. So they're for a pretty heavy car. Yeah, Moroso. Part number 47170. If you guys are interested in them, I'll sell them for the same price I got them for. Watch for them on my website, shatterdreamsracing.com. And yeah, tried to install them, but tried to install the one a little bit, but it's still brand new in the box. Alright, so we're going to put these ones back in there. So yeah, if you go the same wire diameter and an extra 2 coils, roughly, then yeah, these are going to have my front end way in the air where I don't want it. Almost have a gasser look to it. I don't want that with this car, so put these ones back in there and then we'll move on to something else. Alright, so what I've done is, like I said, got rid of that flimsy little bracket I had before. I built myself another little solid one. That's my same button. Put this thing back in first gear. So only when it's in first gear like that and my foot on the brake will the 2-step engage. As soon as I let off the brake, we're moving out. Yeah, that way, like I said before, I don't have to go tack, tree, you know, be looking around a lot. You want to get in there. You want to be able to focus on the tree, and as soon as you're staged, you can get up on the 2-step. You don't have to be doing a bunch of looking around and stuff. It's a lot easier to concentrate and nail that light. So another thing I've done, move the tach. Like you probably just seen that already. It was getting a little too loose over here, smacking against the windshield. You can see a bunch of marks and stuff there. I have to see if I can wash them out. So it's over here now. This bracket came with the car. Little thing there drilled into the A-pillar. All I did was cut it, move it around a bit so that it fit my tach, the one that I had. So it's the exact same one that was sitting over here. I also took the shift light off of it and moved it down onto the steering column. And this thing right now is pointed so that when it flashes, right in the eyes. So that's where you want it. You want it as bright as you can get it, so as soon as it's on, you know to shift. More consistent, the better. And there we go. So right now, I got the car to shift. $6 grand. That's where I want it. When I start adding more fuel, we can shift a little higher. But right now, I think the engine's running a little lean. I haven't checked the spark plugs in a little bit, but that'll be one of the next things I do. And then there we go. That's it for today. So we got the original springs put back in, the ones I had before. Chopped one coil exactly like they were. And then we moved this, or we made a better bracket for this. Nice and solid now. And we moved the tach and the shift light to better locations. As you're working on a race car, something like this, anything, even your street car, you'll slowly play with things, go, hey, you know what, I got a better idea, that was stupid, you'll slowly change things. You'll see that as you go. Try not to wreck anything as you do it. It can happen, you know, stuff like that. If this was a street car, I'd be freaking furious. Since this is a race car, plans to get rid of the original dash anyways. I don't really like that it did that, but it did. So, yeah, eventually we'll get rid of the dash and we'll just put a freaking nice race car dash in there instead of the factory, all this OEM crap that I don't need. Yeah, so tons and tons of plans. We'll get there eventually. Alright, we'll see you guys next time.